How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Goosebumps number 19, Deep Trouble. This was written by R.L. Stine and originally came out in May of 1994. And obviously, what attracted me to this book was this really intense cover. I'm a big fan of shark movies. On this channel during the summer, I cover one a week. And I was like, wait a minute, did they make a shark Goosebumps book? Kind of, but not really. The shark is there, but just for one scene. I kind of feel like this is a bit like Curse of the Mummy's Tomb. Curse of the Mummy's Tomb, not a bad book, but barely any mummies in it, and it's more of an adventure book. This book as well, not a bad book, more of an adventure book, and you really don't go into this wanting a shark book, because again, the shark is just there for one scene. The creature that's actually in this book is really interesting and not really something we do too terribly often. Now, I will say some people consider the creature to be a spoiler. I don't. I think it should be on the front cover, and I think it should be something that everybody knows. But that being said, if you don't want to know, go ahead and pause the video here, read the book, and come back. It is worth reading, and again, I don't think it's a spoiler because they tell you really quick what it is. But anyway, without further ado, the actual creature in this book is a mermaid. Again, kind of a rare pull, and interesting to see Goosebumps doing a mermaid book. It's not a scary mermaid or anything, and actually that is one of the flaws with this book, is it's not super scary. It is, again, more action-adventure with a pretty fun, intense ending and some good questions of ethics. You know, she's a sentient creature. Can we really kidnap her? This isn't ethical. A bit of Creature from the Black Lagoon in there. And yeah, the mermaid actually does fight the shark, and whenever they do a new round of covers, put that on the cover. Keep the shark, but have the mermaid fighting it. That would be such a cool cover. But anyway, I guess knowing going into this is a fun adventure book. It's not super scary, it's not a shark book, but being on the ocean, going on this adventure is really cool. Finding the first mermaid ever and that ethical question, there's some good stuff in here, but it's not a scary shark book, and that really is, again, it's not bad, but you have to have the right headspace. And overall, it's an interesting, different entry, and it must have enough fans because it did get a sequel, which I heard is pretty good. We'll see that when we get to it. Anyway, let's talk a bit about the plot. I'm not going to do any major spoilers. I'll do a little bit of plot to talk about some plot points and do some analysis and stuff, but I'll try to, not talk about the end in any specific nature. Anyway, we open up with this kid, William Deep Jr., and they do that whole thing where it looks like he's on this really intense adventure, but of course it just turns out to be a daydream. And I do like, that name, William Deep Jr., such a kid's adventure book name, right? And plus deep, like deep in the ocean. Yeah, that's cool. But he's on this boat with his uncle and the uncle's assistant. They're a small research vessel, and they're worried the university won't give them any more funding. And that would be really bad for the uncle, because literally the boat is his whole life, and he starts to get antsy when he's on land. So there's a bit of a tension, not knowing if they're going to keep continuing to do what the uncle loves. Well, they go out there and they're doing some snorkeling, and actually, there's a whole bunch of swimming in this book, so if you like the idea of swimming out in the deep ocean, again, a good amount of atmosphere being on this boat all isolated. Atmosphere's pretty cool here. But anyway, they're out swimming, there's some big bright red fire coral, and the uncle's like, don't go too close to that, don't touch it. And he starts to notice something pulling on his leg. Now, half the time, this is going to be his sister. He has one of those bratty, know-it-all sisters that's like, oh, that's not real. Don't talk about that. Don't talk about this. It's not real. A little annoying, but whatever. But he notices one day that when something pulls on his leg, he looks down and sees a big, horrific sea monster. And then, strangely enough, that doesn't really come up too often in the book. But he's seeing things out there, and no one else is believing him. But one day, his uncle sends him to bed early, and he sneaks out, and he sees that people from the zoo have arranged a secret meeting with his uncle. You see, there's been reports from local fishermen that there's a mermaid out there, and the local zoo wants him to capture it. The uncle, of course, doesn't believe, but they're offering him $1 million. You gotta go out and take a look just in case. And this, of course, inspires the kid's sense of adventure. He sets out snorkeling on his own one day and is about to get attacked by a shark when the mermaid saves him. Oh man, that would be such a cool cover for the book. That's what I want printed on here. But anyway, the mermaid saves him, and the uncle shows up just in time to scoop the mermaid up. And now we get all these ethical questions. Can we really keep what is clearly a sentient being? Well, we'll have to talk about that. And there's a whole bunch of stuff where he's kind of infatuated with it, but can it really talk? Can it understand what he's trying to say? And what do we even feed a mermaid, you know? There's some interesting stuff, and I won't go too far into the end, but the ending actually does get really intense. And okay, if this wasn't a kid's book, those kids would totally be dead. But I did like how intense the ending got, and there were some cool action-heavy moments, and overall I thought it was really cool. But again, it's not super scary, and it's not a shark book. It's a book that's good, but you gotta know where it is going into it. You gotta have the right headspace, and I wish the cover was a little more honest. And actually the back too, you know. The back, it says, something lurks in the water. Something half human, half fish. That's the scariest way you can describe a mermaid, huh? So you can tell this is something that Stine wrote and Scholastic didn't know how to market, and they kind of forced everyone to be a little misleading. But overall, it's good, it's just different. And you have to be, you have to know that going in. Overall, I thought it was fun. It's not my favorite Goosebumps in the world or anything, but hey, I thought it was interesting. To everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my Goosebumps playlist. I've talked about quite a few of them. Night of the Living Dummy, Say Cheese and Die, Stay Out of the Basement. If you want to see me talk about more Goosebumps books, you can click right here and see more. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.